I know what you're thinking. I'm a sucker for punishment, but we're back at it. So we woke up this morning after 2 defeats of flounder attack. Went to try and get some rags this morning, and a lot of the shops never had it, but while we were phoning up, we realised that it wasn't just us that's been blanking. There's been a few good anglers recently over the last couple of days that's been out hitting Kingsbridge and other areas and not seen a flounder also. So what we're hoping is this set of like spring tides now just starts to drop back off. The fish will start to come in a little bit more, but I think there'll be a few caught over the weekend. But we're down on the MILLBROOK area today, targeting a few. It's not my neck of the woods. Gavin's fished here a few times before in the past, and I've done a bit of fin nipping further back up years and years ago. I fished the other creek further over, but we're just down there having a go, to be honest. It just gets us out. Went into Plymouth Angling and managed to get some of this prime ideal rag, because everywhere else was sold out. And yeah, hopefully we'll see a few fish out. I'm not mucking around today. I'm not mucking around. I'm using some of my place rigs, what I've got made up from going back when I made them up, I think it was last year. And the traces, I'm just going to cut the traces down and use them on running ledgers, just because I've been a bit lazy and I haven't got none of these. And I like these. They're like rubber beads with black and green. Got a sequin on there. It's what I would use for place normally, but flounder's actually the same. Now I went away from using a lot of bling years ago on the team and that, just because I found that my success rate, especially with bigger fish, was better by keeping it basic. But today I'm going back to roots. We just need to get a fish out, and to be honest, I can't wait to get this flounder out the way with, because it's doing my head in. It's not a species which I would say I'm very knowledgeable about. I mean, I've caught flounder, I've caught some big flounder and put a lot of time in over the years, but it's not my kettle of fish. I would rather be banging baits out to the horizon in deep water, targeting some of those bigger size species. But it is part of the sport, and it is something what I do enjoy from time to time. But as I said, it's I can think of better things to do. But we're going to set this rod up now. So we'll both make some 2 odd leads. And yeah, hopefully get a few fish out today. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? A little while before, since you've seen me set up, normally I've been getting everything ready to rock and roll and then putting the camera on. But being like it could be of the last 2 trips, try and get as much footage of something as we can. If we blank, I'll put it on like I did last night, guys. Depending how long it'll stay on there for, I don't know. But there's a lot of you wanting me to put the productions on regularly, no matter if I catch or don't catch. For some of you that aren't interested in seeing the productions when we're not catch, then definitely don't watch yesterday's video, because I'll be calling them blankety blank. But you get to see what we're doing, and sometimes it works, sometimes it won't. It's all depends. You can't catch what's not there, I think. Just can't catch what's not there. Just a bite would be nice today. Just a bite. Okay, so I'm using Gemini swivel link clip. All right, I'm gonna put the bead on. I'm just basically using a running ledger. Okay, and then we're going to put on, I want a little swivel really, I want nothing too big. Bit chilly. Northwest easterly breeze, which it's not as bad as it said it was going to be, but you could feel the chill. So I do. There you go. So that's that. Then somewhere around here, I have to grab that bag a minute. try and keep that rubbish in the bag. Somewhere around here I did have a rig that I cut off. I'm actually sat on a seat bed at the minute. I'm hoping it's in the box because the chance of finding it, if not, it's very slim. Like that. Where did you go? Where did you go? Cut another one off. Can't be that hard to see. Is that it? There you go. There it is there. So, little bit of bling. I've got a 1/0 hook. Could be slightly big, but at the same time I don't want to be fishing for anything small. So we got on today and maybe scale the hook size down a little bit. They're not particularly small rag though. Alright. That's that tight. Scissors. Like so. Alright, so I've got a nice little trace what I'll be flapping around. I've offset the hooks with some pliers. All I'm simply doing here now is getting a rag and feeding it down over the worm like so. And then about 2 inches up, I'm just going to leave the tail down and pull the worm out through. And then I'll get another one, a small rag really. That's a little one. And then all I'm doing there now is literally going through the hook, halfway down. And then bringing down like so. And then I'm bringing that top worm down. Right. Just as I would place really. Bring that bead down to the top of the worm so it doesn't slide off. I've got those few attractors there on the top. Like that. Bring that down a little bit so they can move around if they need to in the tide. And hopefully we can see something out on that. Let's get one out then. That side, yeah?
Yeah, I've got one out in front of me, so I can fish fish.
Yeah.
And the other one out about 2 to 3 metres off the edge. Off the edge of the bank.
No? There you go guys. Let the rod in the water. It's a waiting game now. So we can get one out. So we've got some peter crab left over. Some ragworm. Dockyard over the back there. Prime little location, hopefully. See a few flounder out. Got as good a chance here as anywhere, so why not? A bit chilly. This one's been out for about 10 minutes now, so the first one I'm going to bring it back in. I was getting a couple of tugs on it. I don't know if it's crabs or not. I don't think it's a fish. But I'm just going to check because we're obviously using worm baits and they can get stripped. Okay, so if you've got this hook there, you want to put it in a bit of paper and try to pull it out, come straight out. By doing this, it will hook straight away, and it's perfect for hook catches. You want to make sure that hook's there. So all I'm doing is simply putting a little bend in the hook just to offset it, and that's all you need to do really. But it's a lot smaller than I've got on there now. I mean, I'm going to take that off and start again. Okay, so I'm going to bring everything what I've got on here down now, like that. Cut that hook. There's a 1/0 hook gap on there. Okay. Put a little small bait on that, I think. Right, bring them down like so. So I'm going to fish one single worm on that now and get them out, hopefully see if we can get a flounder. That's just been cast out straight in the channel there. On a lump of rock covered in weed at the minute, so water will come up around us. We're only going to stay here for a little bit. We can make our way back up tide, hopefully find a few fish. Lovely. Switching the baits, moving them back. Keep getting that trace and bait moving, flowing in the little tide as it starts to flood back in here. We got a flounder bite, guys. We got a flounder bite. Tugging away there. Starting to drop a little slack. Put him down a minute. So this is the time now you sit on your hands. You're supposed to. That's a bit I hate. Still there. He's still there.
Did you cast that one too?
Yeah, cast them both in the middle, yeah. Pulled it back. So hopefully, this is it. The thing I've got to watch is it coming down towards Gabby, because I cast out right and it brought the line around the buoy. I think he's hooked. I'll wait for it a minute. And I will bring him in. So I'm sitting there minding my own business. Rod tip started going, stopped, and then as I put the camera on, it just started going again. So we have got flounder here. Definitely a flounder bite. Hoping he goes again and I can just reel him in then. Always told to have a cup of tea to let the hook go right back. Tighten them up a little bit. Something's still there. When the warbler's coming down, you've got the flapping bit coming up before the hook. Sometimes they do peck at that.
Yeah.
Which means I don't think he's hooked. Yeah, still got there, still there. Go on, suck him back, brother, suck him back. Get him back, boy, get him back. He obviously wants it. Obviously wants it. Let's go have a drink or something while we're waiting. I think he's there, guys. He's picking up a lot of slack now. Don't know if you can make that out, but it's a classic flounder bite. It's tight and he's just slacking that right off. So I think I'm going to go and investigate a little bit. Okay, so my line is just slacking my line straight to the beach, and it's moved down now. I'm thinking he's hooked.
Fish?
Yeah, we've got fish.
Get on. Fucking flounder, boy! He's alright, mate. Look how fat he is.
There he is. He's not the big one we're after, guys, but I gotta say, we are both very happy to see that fish out. Both very happy to see that fish out. So what's we're fishing for now? Worm baits, flounder. It's not the biggest of fish, but to see if he's away or not, but he's tucked out right back, and I mean tucked out right back. See, let's get him cleaned off over here a minute. All right, folks, so this is what we're after. Flounder. Gonna get him back now to fight another day, but he's away for the comp. Hopefully he'll start getting a bit bigger. Get him back in to fight another day now. There he goes. Go and get your daddy and bring him back here. We're on the cards. We beat the blank. Gavin's turn now. See some monsters come up the date. Okay, folks, let's see if we can get another one. Need a bigger one than that. Try and get another one out now. It's quite murky close in, so I'm going to try and get it out a little bit just to clear the water for a minute until the tide starts to flood a little bit, and then that will all clear up then, and hopefully we can get some flounders coming in over the bank. I reckon we've got probably, I don't know what, half hour, 3/4 of an hour here, and we'll be moving on. Get one out. So, second mark now. Going to be moving around a little bit, back up with the tide. So, towards the end of the tide, we might go back to the van and adventure right up. You never know, but got to do these things to see a few fish out sometimes. It's like yesterday, I put loads of hard work in yesterday. I walked probably about 20 minutes. So I probably spent 40 minutes walking yesterday to get to the mark and back from where I parked. And sometimes you just got to do it. But it's nice to see the messages that people are enjoying the blank session. But I suppose it goes to show, because a lot of anglers, especially good anglers, don't show when they're blanking and not blanking. I mean, as I said before, we sort of found out earlier on that there was a lot of good anglers out fishing for the flounder the past few days, and they were also not getting into no fish. So yeah, it's one of them really. Small rag baits. I'll let you give marks out of 10 on Gav's backside in a minute. You got to have a bit of humour with it, haven't you? Oh, brilliant. Love it. I love it. Right, so there you go. The bling actually worked a little bit today, which I'm pleased about. I don't normally use it, but do you know what? I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not? So I'm going to try and get this out into the channel here now. I've got 4-ounce dump lead, and see if I can get one out. Probably bring the tripod a little bit more forward. I'll wait for the tide to go in. Whee. You wouldn't have got none of that, the box was in the way. That's in the tide there now. Careful the way the lead's settling. That lead has just settled there now. Get the second rod out. So I've got one out to the right in the bay. Gav's gone out one out in front and one out to the left in the bay. So we'll just get this one in here now off that bank and see if we can get another fish out. Just letting it go in the tide now. Flapping around in the tide. There you go. There you go. All set up and ready to rock and roll. Lovely day for it. Sunglasses on in a minute, I think. Just need those bites to come now. You can see the point there where we were just fishing a minute ago. The reason we've come off as the tide's starting to push us back there. We'll get a little bit of time there, but then we'd have to fish over the bank. So 9 times out of 10 you lose a few fish or fish into the bay there. Where we are now, we sort of like can work our way back. Gav's obviously got the bay to the left hand side, I've got the bay to the right hand side, and then we've got both one out in front each into that deeper channel. But no doubt we'll stay here for a little bit and probably work our way back up with the tide. I mean there's a few spots we've looked at, and yeah, fingers crossed we can see a few fish out today. Well, we're fishing. Sun's out, wind's coming off our backs, everything's looking good. Just need to see a sign of a few fish now. Tide's starting to flood nicely, and what I found is up there on that last couple of casts, the worm had been nabbed, which I think was crabs. So we'll probably have to change the baits a little bit more frequent. But looks like a nice spot. Not a lot of excitement with floundering. It's one of those types of sea fishing where you cast out, you wait for a bite. Where you'd normally get excited and get right onto the rod, you've got to sit on your hands, let the fish hook itself, and then yeah, it's quite a boring part of the sport, but it can be fun. It can produce some really good fish. But I can think of better things to do, like screaming smooth hounds later on in the year, and rays. Something about that ratchet clicking off, isn't there? I think it's something just about getting the sandy or the bluey bait, or just preparing a big nice bait, putting a 6-ounce lead on and just like literally hoovering it to the horizon. But this type of fishing, you can do a lot of like line sort of stuff, can you? And I'm probably a bit overkill for what we're doing at the minute. I mean, a lot of guys use little braided reel with light fixed spools and really light floppy rods and that. You can enjoy the sport a bit more. I've got the Silk bass rods, which are bought specifically for the gilthead bream. I mean, they're quite pokey, and I've got the slammers to go with him, so I know I've got 20-pound line and wire trace. I'm going to handle anything which is in the water gilt wise, I know. even if they go start screaming, I'm literally nothing's going to go on me, which I want really with that setup. Gavin's, I think, his setup's probably a bit more. He's got like an any fish anywhere light floundering rod. It's quite a nice rod really. It's got a really nice tip on it. But then he's got a century. It's a century bass, isn't it? Yeah, he's got a century bass, which are very, very sought after. I mean, a lot of anglers used to use the century basses and the flatty fanatics and that when they're pollocking down in Cornwall and stuff, like frozen sand, they'll blast a 4-ounce lead to the horizon, and they're quite J-curvy. They got a lot of power in them, but they're quite sought after. I had the Ensure, but to be honest, it was a lovely rod, but I know the old basses are the ones what they sort of seem to go after. But no, just a waiting game now, just a waiting game. Well, folks, hats off. I think I've got some weed on here. These slammers are lovely. They really are. I have got weed on, I can feel it. I seen it pull round a minute ago. But these rods are nice as well. They've got loads of poke. And the lead's coming up now. Strip? No. Weed's come off. And the worm's still on. It's always a good sign, isn't it? Just the weed what was pulling over. So it's a shame to waste it, isn't it? But I'm just going to add a worm onto it, I think. Get the weed off here a minute. Lovely. Look at that. Right. That one there's pulled round as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this rod in first and cast that one out. Because I like to do that. See what we got on here then. Nothing. That one was stripped. Yeah. Right. Let's get one in there then. Pull that back lovely. Put that one down. Just out of the tide there now, that one, that should be. There you go. He's still in the tide, just. All the weed coming around our main lines, unfortunately. So I'm going to pull that back up slightly. And then I'm going to get this worm and bring in. I should have brought a baiting needle with us really. I'm prepared. It's the last minute decision this morning. We just both spoke and was like, got to go and get one. That one there is in there. That bay in there looks quite nice. I'm going to go short here. Lovely. That's in real short. Could possibly be too short. Who knows? Is there such a thing as 2 foot short in floundering? I don't think so. Tide's flooding, they'll come up with it. Fingers crossed. But I don't know how long we're going to give it here. But we have got a little bit of estuary to play with, so, or a creek, shall I say. So the world's our oyster. You might hear the breeze a little bit. It is getting a little bit chilly, and I mean a little bit chilly. So the wind's coming around us now. I walk over the gav, it gets less the more I move left. But no more fish at the minute. I think I just lost one. I noticed a bite when I was on the phone a minute ago, and as I look back up, I watched the slack, and I thought it could be a fish, and it sort of tightened up again and then dropped back a little bit. So I waited, give it a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, and then went to reel it in. I could feel it on there, and then as I got in close here, I could feel the weed, and I put a bit more too much pressure, and I think I just pulled the worm out of its mouth. But back at it again, very slow floundering, very slow. We just saying a minute ago. It's I'm just glad it's one of those things you do for the winter period. But it's getting out what counts, isn't it? It's getting out what counts. I can see why some people enjoy it. Don't know if that was a bite or not then. I'm fishing just outside the tide line here now. So I'm letting them out and then pulling them back slightly, so hopefully the lead is in on the bank and the bait's going like that in the tide. And that's what I'm hoping for anyway. But just the one fish, hopefully more to come. Okay, so tide's flooding properly now. Starting to push us back up to towards the high tide mark, really. I mean, we're not going to have much beach left on this sort of tide, I don't think. But there is access to get up onto the public footpath, to which we can head back around to fish somewhere else if need be. I mean, me and Gav have come up with a plan of attacking in a minute to see what's what. I mean, we've been here a little while now and not caught no fish. So the trouble is with floundering, it's a bit like mulleting. You either wait in the same area for the fish to go up and come back down, which we're definitely not going to do. I haven't spotted Gavin yet, but I'm pretty sure he won't want to stay here until like midnight tonight. But we need to get both of us a fish out, so it might be a case we move up a bit further over the high water. High water's around 6 o'clock tonight. We've got the daylight still upon us. It's only 3:15, so it makes sense to maybe go up through, but yeah, who knows. But at the moment I've got one off into the right, just pull back into the tide. And I've got the other one which I cast out in front and it's just drifting round onto the bank. So yeah, I think Gav's had a couple of bites as well, so there seems to be fish there, but nothing hooked up yet. Joys of floundering. So I'm going to go in and bring these rods in now, and I think we're going to make our way around to the next mark, so the third mark of the trip. We're going to fish a bay, so it was a case of either driving all the way back up there or we're going to fish the bay. So we decided to fish the bay. It makes sense where we're going to fish. We're out to the tide now. The fish are going to come up over the banks and in search of food and stuff, so we just need to try and get one out. The only trouble is we want a bit of movement with the tide, so hopefully we can see what we can get out. worms are coming back fine, so that's telling me the baits are probably not on the floor. Might be like that tide might be a bit too strong there. I mean the 4 ounce lead swinging round, but who knows? I'm gonna make a move. I guess one in as well. So Mark 3, come round into the bay now. I've got a crab and rag bait on there now. A bit of rag on the end for attraction, and I've also got some beads there. I'm just going to bring down over the top of the bait, just to give it a bit of attraction there. I said before, I sort of went away from using the attractors for flounder, just because I found they're getting better fish, but I've sort of gone back to that now. I mean, that's exactly what I use for placing, and they're flatheads at the end of the day, so there's no difference. It can be, and it's a lovely looking bait that. So we'll try and get him out into the tide here now. Pulling it back just before it hits, so the lead don't get trapped in. So this is where we're fishing at the minute. We're fishing over on the corner. We've come into the bay. There's a bit of a point here, but in behind us here, see the tide goes right up over these mud flaps. So the fish will start coming in around there in a minute, and no doubt the way it is, and it's like a mill pond in there at the moment, for it's just out the tide, you'll probably see the fish moving, which will be nice. I bet they get some nice mullet down here.
Yeah, they do. Seen a fair few.
Bass and that as well.
Yeah.
Bait come in last time fine, alright, absolutely fine, but it's dead worm, so I'm going to take it off. Some people will just leave that on, it's frozen back up, but I don't want massive baits. Alright, so I can move them up as well. That's what I'm doing here now. But I don't know, I'm going to use that crab bait later, I think. Just going to put a single worm up through. Right, so, right, up the shanker, just like that. Right, put one more on. Like so. See, you can tee him off there like that now. Now what I'm hoping is we get Mr. Flounder come along and nail it. Like so. I'll give him a quick dip before I cast. What I find is when you dip them, you don't blow when you cast. I always do it with place fishing. Don't necessarily do it when you're flounder fishing, because you're not absolutely annihilating the baits to the horizon. But when you're place fishing, I'm pendulum casting 15-pound mainline and trying to get as much distance as I can, and that's what I tend to do, just give them a quick dip. It stops them from blowing. Pulling back as soon as it hits. What you find is sometimes if you're casting a 4-ounce lead, the ground's not that soft here, but maybe out there it could be. What you find 9 times out of 10, you've got a running ledger on. If your lead gets buried down, it can bury the line, so as the flounder's picking on it, it's getting tension there straight away. You don't want that. You want to be able to, the flounder to get movement. And that's why a lot of the guys use really light tips, and they use braid as well, because it's got less tolerance than the mono. But we've had them already. I've had them on worse gear than that over the years, you know what I mean? It's not something we do a great deal of, but I got rid of the Colonel Flatty Fanatics, which I used for years, but I got good money for them, and that's the reason I did, and they wouldn't last forever. Where I've gone for the Zokron basses now, they're very pokey, and I can get more distance with them. The other ones are 11 foot, these are 13 I believe, and they'll cast a bait to the horizon, especially some of the venues we're going to go targeting gilts this year. We want to be out into those deeper channels where the gilts lay up, and that'll help me do so. 4-ounce lead, I'm going to cast a 5-ounce lead on them, gripper, and get them right out into that channel. But it's a lovely day. It's less cold where I am at the minute, which is nice. It's sort of like coming over the top. The headland's not really big behind us height-wise, but I think it's just like basically pushing it off us slightly. You start feeling it a little bit now, but hopefully we can see a fish out. Just need to see Gavin one out now. But as we always do, we fish as a team, so if we don't go out one a day, I'm sure we'll get out and have a go again. Hunt for that 2-pounder. Okay guys, Gav's just had a big slackline bite off the top of this here. Big slackline bite. Bass or flounder, do you reckon?
I don't know.
It's come around as well, isn't it? The lead. How far did you cast out? That way or?
Yeah.
Come on. It makes a day if we both catch. As long as we get target species between us, we're always happy, but it's always nice for both to catch, isn't it? We're just saying it's not really our cup of tea where we are at the minute. Earlier on you got somewhere to cast, you got a chance to cast in? No?
No.
Maybe a bass?
Could be a bass.
Went over, yeah. With this here, they can sort of like come anywhere. I mean, we're casting out towards the channel just to get a little bit of tide movement with the baits, but they can be right down underneath your feet. Yeah. I know a lot of match anglers when they're fishing for flounder and stuff like that, they've got tracers down in the water, and they've caught fish on them because the fish will come underneath the tripod and just pick the bait up. You know what I mean? They can literally come anywhere. Not that that would count, of course, but what I'm saying is the fish can be from there to anywhere around there, and it's all exactly the same. So in my theory, it's pot luck whether you're going to get one or not. But you've got to have a bait in the water to try, haven't you? That's the main thing of it. It was smash, was it? bass, I reckon, Matt.
Yeah, the way it slackened me off.
Yeah.
Is that half a cracker?
Yeah, go for it, Matt. You go for it. Pull some of the bits off it though. That's what I've done. I put it around the hook and then just left the tail dangling through. We've got enough worm for tomorrow.
What's that?
We got enough worm for tomorrow. We got another one of them in there.
Have we?
Yeah. We might have a day off.
What's that?
Put on a day off today, let alone that. I'm back on it. Try somewhere else, I reckon, tomorrow. Someone's called for a Brucey bonus, that.
Who?
Bit of a bass, eh?
Yeah.
Look at that hook point proud. Flounder and bass flat. Lovely. So the tide's flooded in now. Gavin's just had a nice bass bite up to the left hand side. I think come to nothing. And have a couple of taps on the right hand rod and then another bite on this left hand rod. I'm fishing a little bit further in. I've cast out as far as I can really, but I think I'm just off that tide line slightly. I'm going to start throwing them into the left in a minute as the tide starts to flood, because we're on like a little, you could call it a pier, an incoming water pier. It's about to flood over, so yeah, we're gonna have to make our way back in a minute. I'm quite lucky I've got the waders on still. We might be all right. He's got some wellies on there, so yeah, fingers crossed. But when a question come in yesterday, I was going to answer was about bait, and they were saying, obviously with bait wise, what do we normally do? Do we store it, or do we go to get it from the tackle shop on the day before? Frozen bait, I like to keep in the freezer, because we obviously, me and Gav and Adam and that, we do a lot of like frozen bait fishing, like raying or congering or yeah, a lot of it really. It's always nice to keep frozen crab in the freezer, prawn especially this time of year. So we normally like try to keep as much as we can in the freezer, but we're quite lucky because we've got spare chest freezers and we've got the room to do so. A lot of anglers don't have the room to do so. So like this weekend now, like today, we've gone out and got a bit of worm today because we wanted to go today. We're quite fortunate we managed to get some. We had a ring round. Sometimes you're not unable to, but we were quite lucky to manage to get some. We rung around a lot of places, managed to get £1.50 from one shop and £0.5 from another shop. So we got loads of rag here for today. But normally, if we're going out on the weekend, what I'll do is I'll get hold of Hooker's Baits on like a Wednesday or Tuesday, and they send everything out on a Thursday, which you get it for a Friday. So it works really well, especially for those of you that can't get to tackle shops and that. It's just easy, isn't it? You just get the bait delivered on a Friday morning. It comes to your door. You get the missus or someone to put it straight into the fridge. And even the frozen bait, it comes intact still. Just chuck it in the freezer, and it enables you to have bait there all the time. And the good guys up there, they work really hard to supply us with good quality baits and that. We've had a good working relationship with them for many years now. And yes, it's always obviously the hoodies and stuff that we do, we normally get from them as well. And yeah, we're out at the minute because I misplaced my top. I don't know where it is, and it's a message we get all the time. Where can I get the hoodies and stuff like that from? So we're gonna have to get some new ones made up, maybe a bit of a different design this year. But yeah, I'm sure they'll be ready for Brid. We normally get them ready for Bridlington. I've got a polo shirt at the moment, but I've misplaced my hoodie. I think I must have left it either fishing or on a job. But yeah, crazy that sort of thing. But the tide's coming in lovely now. So we're going to get a bit of depth of water in front of us, and hopefully we can see a fish. There's light starting to fade, as you can see, And yeah, we're not a million miles away from parking, just over the back there, which is always nice as well. We ain't got a big long walk, so I reckon we'll give it, I don't know, I don't think we'll give it into darkness. I don't think there's no need, especially where we're fishing at the moment. I think obviously for flounder, I think you probably pick a few bass on that up, but for flounder we would definitely want it so they can see. But saying that, I went to a mark a few years ago with Eddie Riley, and he had some of these Tronics Pro float beads, but they were luminous, all right? And I'll tell you what, I was bassing at the time, and he said, Webby, he said, look at these here, I'm going to try these out. So he put them on, he put them right on the top of his hook, and he put some worm in that on, and constant flounder. I went down to one rod in the end and done exactly the same, because it was just flounder every cast. And a lot of people don't think you can get flounder in the night time, but I assure you, you can. I've had some of my best flounder. I've had my PB flounder of 215 from Coombe Cellars, and that was in the evening. And I've had some really good sport, especially in the teen on crab. I find if you're using crab and smaller baits, they tend to smash it. They're a lot more aggressive in the dark, where in the daytime they're a bit more finicky. And to be honest, especially after work and stuff, going back for previous years over the winter time, I used to order a Chinese sometimes, and we stood there with the Chinese in me waders, having a bit of dinner while I got the flounder rods in, and it paid off. A few decent fish and stuff. But I think Gav's bringing that one in now. We'll get him on camera, see if we've got anything out. As you can see, this is the point we're on about, or Webby's little pier. Probably not the best way to describe it, really. But as you can see, all the weed dropping off. Anything, Matt? That's the trouble with it sometimes, especially when you're fishing in weed like this. You can lose fish. I did earlier on. Smash the bait again, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are quite good as well. See these little weights? Just throw up your line. We're going to be using these this year for the gilts.
The barrel weights.
Perfect. There it is. The River Tamar in the back. It's tall point over there. Going down through to MILLBROOK. Sun's just about to go away. I reckon we got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and it'll be time to call it a day. But yeah. Hopefully we can see a fish out to make it a never worthwhile trip. Some things I like about fishing and some things I don't. This one thing I love. Look at this. What a perfect place to be. And I got to be honest, I don't think really there's no other place in the world I'd rather be right now. I mean, I'm in waders up to my knees nearly now. No, not to knees, at the top of my wellies probably. But sunset's just gone down. And not a breath of wind, flat calm, and we're still here fishing. Just the last part of the daylight I think we're going to do now. But basically the main channel runs from right to left, so out from this point here all the way along, all the way back up and around. And this here is like quietly flat, but there's a point what comes out here, and they come around into the bay. So the only trouble is you could get flounder anywhere here, and literally anywhere. Gav's putting one out right into the mouth of it now. As you can see, it just hit land there now. It's where the water sort of like comes trickling in, and the point's sort of like basically being covered now. I mean, we were fishing up here a minute ago, but yeah, I did have a bite on this rod, so I've left him for a minute. I'm going to bring him in now. One fish out so far today. Hopefully we can get another one. If not, we'll be out again tomorrow. But I've got to wait for my ragworm to turn up from Hooker's Baits first. Once it turns up, we'll be out in full force looking for that monster once again. But from all of you at Sea Angling Adventures, tight lines, and I hope you enjoy the weekend fishing. I know what you're thinking, what a sunset, and you're not wrong. Yeah, just gone down in over the top of the hills there, and we are just fishing the last part of the darkness. So it won't be too long of production today, guys. We have had fish, which beached yesterday, unfortunately, but just trying to get that last one out now. There you go. So a worm bait on there now. I'm literally going to hit this to the horizon, right out to the right hand side of me. Gab's fishing in the pond there. walking along, singing a song. Left my bait elastic out here, guys. Walking, I said to Gav a minute ago, where's the bait elastic? He said, mine's here, so I used this. Walking out here now and it's floating. Probably going to be last cast there. That darkness comes in. Don't even know if I've got enough line to get back. I think I should have gone for the bigger slammers. I'll get it up over that weed there, so don't cause the problem with the weed. It swung around like yours did. Yeah, lovely. That's nice. Hopefully, that's the one. What a backdrop. Something about this time of night for fishing, isn't there? Just as it's going dark. Been here all day. First cast, well, second cast, I think. Was it second cast?
Yeah.
Yeah, second cast, we got into the fish. And then it's been another one. But this type of fishing is always going to be the same. We're not targeting gullies, we're not targeting banks. Low water was our best chance because the fish were home in one area. Now they can literally disperse throughout. And especially where we are now, we were just talking a minute ago, it is pot luck because they could literally appear anywhere. You just got to try and use your head a little bit. Like Gav's now, he's basically, as they're coming through, he's using the main entrance of where the water's coming around. So 9 times out of 10, because of the depth of the water getting there now, the fish are going to come around into like the entrances of the bay, and hopefully he'll pick a few fish up for doing that. I've done things a little bit different. I've gone and walked out onto the point there. I've cast one out like Gav did a minute ago to the right hand side, which has drifted round into the tide. So it's literally pulled me right in tight to the bank. It's held there now, lovely. So I'm hoping a flounder will come along on that one there. It's just a single ragworm on that. And then on the one on the right hand side, I've walked out to the point and I've hammered it as far as I can out into the tide. It's pulled round lovely. So that's got a crab bait on there now. So it's one of them, innit? You just got to wait and hope. And see if it pays off. 9 times out of 10, we're chucking them all the way out here. The fish are probably underneath our feet. But what do you do? Fish 10 yards out, or go with what you think. I'm more confident doing what we've done here. There's a boat coming in, going right back up river. We're not using massive hooks, so I've got size 1 hooks on there at the moment, and you will get a lot of bass smashing the baits. I know people use smaller hooks and do catch bass, but what I find is, especially when we're using the running ledger and not the boat rig, they'll pick it up and then they'll go and hammer it around. The rod tip will go down. They're either hooked or they're underhooked, and 9 times out of 10, what I find is, especially, you'll end up losing fish because of it. I'd rather use a bigger hook. If I use a 5-0 hook, by the time the bass is covered, it's in its mouth and it's jammed. Whereas small, oh, I'm getting a bite on the right hand side, one here. Come on. Difference with the tide will go like that with your rod, right? But the flounder, they tend to go like little finicky bites. Sharp and powerful like taps. Like that's flounder bite. That is a flounder bite, and that is probably around, I'd like to say, about 120 yards away from me. I'm getting bites at the moment. My line's sitting along the top of the weed, so if I do get a fish now, the jacket's coming off, I'm going to wade out as far as I can just to get it up over the weed. I've seen many a fish lost in weed like that. Come on. Take the crab, baby, take the crab. Go on, right back. Even the little schoolie bass tend to take the rod tip over. Big bass will just smash it and drop slack. Or they go right over. Feel the jacket coming off. my line slightly slackened off. Moving up slightly. Fish? Well, this fish is starting to slack me off. Jesus Christ. Definitely someone playing around there. My initial bite was a pull over, a slight pull over, and then drop back. Then I had a proper little flounder bite, and then it started to drop me slack slightly. That's the one exactly the same as what the one done a minute ago. I say a minute ago, about 10 hours ago. Nothing happened with that other bite, guys. Nothing. Something had been sucking around it. Probably a little flounder, but it was getting the proper little flounder bites. But look at that backdrop now. Gonna ask for much better, could ya? Except from a few fish. But I'm gonna bring this one in now, and that's gonna probably be our night. Gav's just finishing his last one up. We're gonna go out again tomorrow, so hopefully we can get something out. But yeah, we had a fish out today, so that's all you can do. But it's been a lovely day. And we're very tempted to come back tomorrow, so maybe we'll be back on MILLBROOK tomorrow. But from all of us at Sea Angle Adventures, enjoy your evening, tight lines. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, jump on the Facebook, join onto the page, join onto the Facebook group, all the other social media gather, and we can, a lot of the photos and stuff go on there, what you can't comment on and stuff like that on the YouTube. So it's always nice to get involved in that. There's a lot of topics going on there and different things, and it's a good way of connecting with you as an audience. So definitely, if you've got Facebook, jump on there, Instagram or Twitter as well. But the main one, hit that subscribe button right now. From all of us down here, tight lines, till the next time.
Bringing it in for the last time of the day. Look at that though, absolutely perfect, isn't it? Hopefully we can get them again tomorrow.
What? What? I've got them, beef 940.
The little black ones.
Yeah, I've got them.
Really thin.
They're in there.
Thin gates, aren't they?
Got them a size, I've got size 1s and size 2s, I think, or size 1Os and size 1s.
Yeah, it's the gape on them is really thin, isn't it?
Yeah, really thin. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed the day. It's been nice to get a fish out, and can't do much more else.